Yo, beautiful people, what is up? It is Coach Ron from Firestorm Freerunning and Acrobatics Galaxy here in Moreno Valley, California. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you're all staying safe and distanced out there. This video is going to be kind of different from what I normally do. I normally post just clips of myself, but I am a coach. I am an educator, so I figured, if you don't use it, you lose it. So why not try and educate everyone while we're all staying at home and not really doing much right now. So if you're in a lot of pain, if you're sedentary, definitely take the time to watch this video. It takes 10 minutes to do this warm-up, this mobility warm-up that we're going to learn today. It is called CARS. If you do not know what CARS is an acronym for Controlled Articulated Rotations. And basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be mobilizing all of the joints in our body, starting from our neck all the way down to our feet and our ankles. Mobilizing, warming it up is crucial if you ever want to do or are involved in any kind of sport, high impact activity like parkour, for example. I need to mobilize these knees, I need to mobilize these hips more than anything, because if I don't, I'm going to hurt myself and I'm not going to have the strength to do some of the cool stuff that I normally do and I teach. So quick background, CARS, Controlled Articulated Rotations, helps you build strength, mobility, and there is a difference between mobility and flexibility. For example, flexibility is like how far I can stretch this individual part of my body. You see, I can go all pretty far, nice and stretchy. I'm a pretty stretchy guy myself, whatever, you get the point. But mobility is a little bit different. Mobility is how far I can stretch that individual joint, but if I can't use any strength, when my arm is all the way back here, I have no mobility, I have no strength with that range of motion. So what we're going to be doing with CARS is we're going to be putting our joints in our body through all ranges of motion so we can increase that mobility and use that arm in that flexed, stretched out state, if that makes sense. So without any further ado, let's get started. We're going to try and build some strength in our joints, get our bodies nice and warmed up. I myself just ran a 6-mile run, so I like to do CARS before my workouts, and I also like to do it after my workouts and scattered throughout the day, so that way when I'm sitting down for long periods of time, when I have nothing to do, I'm at least moving my body, and that is crucial. It is crucial, guys, that we stay moving. We need to stay moving because we're made to move. If we're sedentary, we're going to be sick, we're going to be in pain, it's not going to be fun. So anyways, let's get started. Sometimes I can talk too much. So what we're going to be doing is, like I said, we're going to be mobilizing our joints all the way from the top of our body down to our very bottom of our body. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our neck. It's very important that when you do all of these exercises that you are pushing yourself. You want to practice what is called irradiation, and that's basically tightening all of the joints in your body, starting from your toes all the way up to your neck. And when we start with our neck muscles, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be focusing on just that area. However, we are still going to be irradiating our body. So what I like to do is I like to plant my feet firmly into the ground, kind of push them out like I'm on 2 solid plates, so pushing my toes out to the side a little bit more. I'm going to be squeezing those joints, and I'm squeezing it about 30-50%, nothing too crazy, but enough to get a little bit of an exercise out of this. So starting with our legs, let's tighten our legs, tighten those knees, tighten those butt cheeks. So like squeeze those butt cheeks as tight as you can. Well, not as tight as you can, about 30-50% again. And what I like to do is I like to put my hands right around here. Just hold them, keep them nice and tensed. Remember, butt cheeks tensed, arms tensed. And what we're going to do, we're going to mobilize our neck. So we're going to start by pointing our chin down, nice strong stance. Do not move any part of your body besides your neck. Point down, point that chin towards the floor. What we're going to be doing now is we're going to be pointing our chin to our right shoulder. We're going to rotate our neck to our right shoulder. As soon as we get to our right shoulder, you see my voice is starting to get a little weird. We're going to point it up to the ceiling, moving all the way up to the ceiling and back to our other shoulder and back down to our starting position. Remember, keep irradiating the rest of your body. Focus on that breathing. You want to pretend like you're moving every joint that you're mobilizing through a thick puddle of mud. So you see my neck is moving very slowly, but I'm also tensing it. It's almost like my body and my muscles are fighting against each other, but that's how we're going to build strength. So let's go. Other side, point to our left shoulder, all the way up, back down, Let's do one more. And back down. So I am getting a little, moving a little bit quickly through these mobility exercises just so I can kind of have the video shorter, so I can put it on Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff. But you want to make sure that you take your time when you're doing this by yourself. Usually I like to go about 30 seconds one direction, so rotating 30 seconds in one direction and then rotating 30 seconds in the other direction. If I feel like my body needs any additional mobility, warm-ups, anything like that, I will focus on that part of my body and continue to do it until I feel sufficiently warmed up. You should feel after that exercise, you should feel like blood into the synovial fluid, more specifically, is pumping through that joint, through that area that you're warming up. So without further ado, let's finish up. Let's go from our neck. Remember, we are going to tense every part of our body, squeeze those butt cheeks. Now what we're going to do is we're going to rotate and mobilize our shoulder blades. And what I like to do is I like to use a little broom. Nice little broom here. I'm going to hold that broom and I'm going to keep my arms as straight as I can, using that broom to keep my arms tensed and flexed. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be pretending like I'm drawing a nice little square with my shoulders. So I like to pick my shoulders all the way up to my ears, try to pick them up to my ears. Now what I'm going to be doing is, remember, I'm drawing a square. We're going to rotate our shoulder blades back. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see. I'm going to try and pinch my shoulder blades back on the way. See, I bent my arms. Let's try not to bend those arms. All the way down, push them forward out in front of us, and back up. Remember, you're tensing the rest of your body. The rest of your body isn't moving. It's nice and tensed up except for those shoulders, because we're focusing on just the shoulders. Keep those arms as straight as you can. Point your shoulders all the way up. Pinch those shoulder blades on the way back. Push them all the way down in front of you and back up to the starting position. Now, we're going to go forwards now. Remember, we're going to do this about 30 seconds by yourself, maybe even longer if you need it. But now we're going to be going forwards. So again, picking our shoulders up, rotating forward, nice strong stance, back, pinching the shoulder blades, up to our ears, out in front of us, down, pinch the shoulder blades back, up. You can see there's kind of like a formula to it, but you're basically drawing a big circle or square, more specifically a square, with those shoulder blades. So that's pretty much your shoulders. Remember, again, when you're doing this by yourself, you're going to be doing this for longer than what I'm showing you right now. I'm trying to be brevetous so we can have this video under 10 minutes. I think it's going to be a little bit more, but let's keep going. So the next move I like to do, the next joint I like to mobilize are my wrists. It's very important that when you mobilize your wrists, you only mobilize those wrists. You're only moving those wrists. What I like to do, I like to keep my forearms out. They're flat, like a nice little table. I point my fingers up. My fingers are always pointed. They're not bent, because we're not trying to help by bending those fingers or anything like that. Okay, so maybe I'll move a little bit closer so you can see. Hi friends. So, hands out. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be rotating, moving our wrists through the whole range of motion as far as you can without moving any part of your body besides your wrist. Big old circles with your wrists. You can hear my wrists popping and cracking a little bit. This is good for people with arthritis because you're mobilizing, you're warming up the body, you're pumping that blood towards that joint. So if you have pain in your wrist, this is a perfect exercise to do, even if you're just sitting at your desk. There's no excuse why you cannot do this exercise just sitting at your desk. Same thing with the ones that we're going to begin learning later with our ankles. See, I'm even moving my forearms a little bit. Try to not do that. Only focus on the wrists. If it helps, you can even put your hands together. See what I focus on rolling out those wrists. Alright guys, we are done with the wrists. Remember, I'm going to keep saying it, when you're doing this by yourself, when you're mobilizing and warming up your body, your joints by yourself, take your time. Do not do it as fast as I'm doing right now. The only reason I'm doing it fast is for the sake of brevity. So, whenever you mobilize, I'm going to say it again, take your time. Listen to your body. Your body will tell you how much you need to warm up, what you need to warm up, how long you need to do it for. All you got to do is listen. All right, perfect. So let's do our back, our spine. This one's going to be really simple. There are a lot of different ways that you can do CARs for each joint. The ways that I'm showing you right now are not the only ways. There are hundreds of different ways to mobilize your joints, but these are the most simple ones and the ones that I like to do in my classes. So what I like to do for my spine, remember, nice wide, probably shoulder width stance. What we're going to do is we're going to irradiate our feet, so tense those legs, tense those butt cheeks, and we're going to rotate our back, keeping our hips in place as far as we can without moving our hips. We're going to hold this position for about 5 seconds, and then we're going to slowly rotate to our other side, going as far back as we can, holding it, holding it, holding it, not moving those hips, they're staying in place. And then we're going to come back again and do it one more time. Focus on that breathing. Your whole body should start getting warm. You may even start sweating during this because it is a warm-up. Your body is warming up. You are getting your body ready for exercise. Or even if you're done with exercise, it's a nice thing to do afterwards. So now that you're done doing it slowly, we're going to do some fast torso twists. Remember, you can move your hips a little bit with this one. Try to go as far back as you can while keeping that strong stance. All right, friends, you get the idea with the torso twist. Now what we're going to do, very important for me, I have to make sure I really mobilize this part of my body every single day, and I take my time with it. I have to. My hips. My hips always give me issues. I know for a lot of people that's the same because we are very sedentary beings. We stay down and sit down a lot because that's what society says we need to do. But, you know, don't listen to what society says. Do what you need to do what's right for you, and most importantly, stay moving, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take a nice shoulder width stance, maybe actually a little bit wider than shoulder width, maybe a little bit past. Sorry, I'm a little out of breath because I just finished running 6 miles. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our hands on our lower back. We're going to push our hips out. As we push those hips out, we're going to push them out as far as we can. We're going to plant those feet. We're going to stay and keep those feet planted. We're going to keep our chest in place. We're not moving around our chest. We're focusing on just the hips. So we're going to be pushing our hips out. We're going to be rotating our hips all the way out to the side, pulling them all the way back, all the way to the other side, and pushing them all the way out. Let me go ahead and give you a nice little side profile there. So push them all the way out, push them all the way to the side, back to the side again, and out in front. Keep that rotation. I like to call these hula hoop circles, big old hula hoop circles. Really exaggerate that range of motion, but remember, keep those feet planted and don't move anything besides just your hips. You really want to mitigate any other movement because you're trying to make this hard, trying to make this a warm-up. Let's go opposite direction. Remember, always rotate in both directions. Nice job, guys. All right. That's it for our hips. Remember, take your time for that. That's definitely not how long I do my hip rotations. I have to do those for at least like 3 to 5 minutes, just straight. So take your time. Listen to your body. Remember, your body will tell you what you need to do, and if you don't listen to it, you're not going to hear it. But if you do, you're good. All right, guys. We only got 2 more joints in our body that we're going to finish mobilizing. We're going to do our knees now. Knees are another important one for parkour. We jump a lot. We absorb a lot. We do a lot of impact. So mobilizing our hips, our ankles, and our knees are especially important for parkour athletes. So if you would like to learn how to mobilize your knees, just go ahead and listen to me right now. We're going to take a nice little squat. We're going to make sure our legs and our feet are planted together. They're glued together. Nice little squat there. All right, friends. What we're going to do is we're going to put some weight on those knees. We're going to keep our feet planted into the ground, and what we're going to do is we're going to do some circle rotations with our knees, just like we were doing hula hoop circles with our hips. We're now doing it with our knees. So I like to go about a couple times one direction, and then a couple times in the other direction. Focus on that breathing. Put some weight on the knees. That's how you're going to build strength in the joints. Okay? Eventually, go deeper nice wider. You eventually want to get wider and deeper as you progress into this movement. All right, you get the idea with the knee rotations. Remember, you're going to do it definitely a lot longer. I recommend at least 60 seconds each direction. Depending on the type of activity that you're doing. If you're doing parkour or running, it's definitely crucial that you warm up for at least 60 seconds in both directions. All right, guys, without further ado, let's get into our last warm-up. I'm going to go ahead and angle the camera just a little bit slightly down because we're actually going to be on the floor for this one. So, hi friends. You see him on the floor? Yay! So what we're going to do is we're going to mobilize our ankles. We can do this standing up, but for me, I prefer doing it sitting down because we can really extend the range of motion in our ankles. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be painting a nice big circle with our ankle. What I like to do is I start here, nice and sitting on my butt, lift one knee up, take my right hand, put it in a chokehold. There we go. I point my toe forward like a little ballerina, pointing my toes, bending them as far, flexing as far as I can. What we're going to be doing now is I'm going to put my opposite hand on my ankle there, right above my ankle, and I'm going to use my right hand to grip onto my left arm. So I'm going to stabilize. I'm going to rotate my toes, pointing my toes in as big a circle as I can. Big old ankle rotations. And you want to pretend like you're moving it through a puddle of mud. Opposite direction. Strong stance, strong posture. Don't get lazy like I just did. We're going to switch just so you can see the opposite side. So again, we're going to use our left hand, whatever leg that you're using, use that same arm to put it in a nice chokehold. And then you're going to grab onto your opposite arm, and then you're going to put your right hand onto your ankle right above it. Same thing, point your toes, flex them all the way forward, and rotate in as big a circle as you can. Pointing those toes, drawing the biggest circle that you can. Trying to push further and further in that range of motion every single time. Because if you don't push yourself every single time, you're never going to get better. You just want to be like Goku. Goku always pushes himself past his limits. The only limit that he has is himself. Don't be your own limitation. You can overcome anything. Keep going. Remember, go both directions. You want to move this ankle joint, these rotations, like you're going through a nice big old puddle of mud. And my voice is a little shaky because I am tired from my 6-mile run, but also these mobilities, like I said, these mobility warm-ups should be a warm-up. They should be a little strenuous, nothing like too crazy, not like you're lifting 100 pounds or something like that, but it should be exercise, it should be a workout. Other than that, we pretty much went through all of our major joints. I forgot one. I actually forgot the elbows. So elbows, very important. What I like to do for my elbows is I like to put my elbows right next to my hips. I lock them in place. I put my hands, my palms facing up. What we're going to do is we're going to rotate, pointing our hands in as big a circle as we can while pushing our elbows into my side, coming down. Remember, we're practicing irradiation as we're doing this, so we are tensing our feet out, our butt cheeks are squeezed, our chest, is pumped out, and let's go opposite direction. Starting to get a little warm, starting to sweat again, but that's good because that's exactly what we want. That's pretty much it. Remember, all of these mobility warm-ups, all of these rotations that you're going to be doing, you definitely want to be doing it for more than the time that I showed you here. Remember, I showed you for like a couple seconds in each mobility warm-up, every kind of way that I moved my body. I only did it for, camera was falling. Let's finish up here. So I was only doing it for a couple seconds just so I could show you the movement, so I could show you and explain how to do everything. But when you are doing these by yourself, you need to take your time. You need to make sure that you are tensing your body and you are exerting yourself. All right, it should be a little bit of a challenge. You should start to sweat a little bit. You should start to feel the blood pump in all of these joints. And remember, if you have pain in any of these areas, your ankles, your hips, anything, doing these cars, controlled articulated rotations, doing them for at least 10 minutes every like hour or so, even more, that would be great. You need to keep your body moving. You need to keep mobilizing, because if we're sedentary, if we're sitting down all day, we're going to be sick, we're going to be unhealthy, we're going to be not good. Okay, so remember, if you're going to take anything from this lesson, from this whatever you want to call tutorial, just remember that you need to keep moving. That's the biggest thing. I've had to learn that myself. Just keep moving, okay? Don't let anybody stop you. Don't let anybody get in your way. Just keep moving. Do what you need to do. Without further ado, guys, I am Coach Aaron from Firestorm Freerunning and Acrobatics Galaxy. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. If you want any more videos like this in the future, just let me know and I'll do my best, all right? Take care, friends.